Lon's Malaysian pen pal, Razali Merriam, was staying with Lon last week. Merriam is from Kuala Lumpur. Merriam and Lon have been pen pals for over 2 years, and they correspond at least once every 2 weeks, but this was their first meeting. On Merriam's first day in Hanoi, Lon took her to Hom King Lake. Like Kuala Lumpur, Hanoi is a busy modern city. Merriam was really impressed by the beauty of the city and by the friendliness of its people. Over the next few days, the girls visited Ho Chi Minh's mausoleum, the History Museum, and the Temple of Literature, as well as many beautiful parks and lakes in Hanoi. On Friday, Merriam wanted to visit the mosque on Hong Lok Street. Lon used to walk past the mosque on her way to primary school. However, this was Lon's first visit. She enjoyed the peaceful atmosphere while Merriam was praying. "I wish you had a longer vacation," Lon said to Merriam at the end of the week. "Yes, I wish I had more time to get to know your beautiful country better." "Lon, would you like to come and visit me next summer?" Merriam asked. "That would be great. However, it seems very difficult for me to have a trip abroad. It all depends on my parents. Anyway, we'll keep in touch." "Are you hungry, Carlo?" "Yes." "Okay, let's go to a restaurant downtown. If we go through the park, we can catch a bus on Ocean Drive." "That's fine. I really like walking in the park." "You're lucky to have a place like this close to your home. It's so beautiful with all the trees and flowers and a pond in the middle." "Carlo, be careful. You're walking on the grass. The park keeper is growing some more. You'll kill the new grass." "Oh, sorry. I didn't see the sign." "Come on. It's time we caught the bus." "Is that our bus, Tim?" "No, that's a 103 bus. We want the number 130. "Where are we going to eat?" "It's up to you. There's a new Mexican restaurant in town." "Oh, no. I can eat Mexican food at home. I love American food. I'd rather eat hamburgers." "Okay. I know exactly where we need to go."
Malaysia is one of the countries of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. It is divided into 2 regions, known as West Malaysia and East Malaysia. They are separated by about 640 kilometers of the sea, and together comprise an area of 3,029,758 square kilometers. Malaysia enjoys tropical climate. The Malaysian unit of currency is the ringgit, consisting of 100 sen. The capital of Malaysia is Kuala Lumpur, and it is also the largest city in the country. The population in 2001 was over 22 million. Islam is the country's official religion. In addition, there are other religions, such as Buddhism and Hinduism. The national language is Bahasa Malaysia, also known simply as Malay. English, Chinese, and Tamil are also widely spoken. The language of instruction for primary school children is Bahasa Malaysia, Chinese, or Tamil. Bahasa Malaysia is the primary language of instruction in all secondary schools, although some students may continue learning in Chinese or Tamil. And English is a compulsory second language. For centuries, poets, writers, and musicians have mentioned the ao dai in poems, novels, and songs. The ao dai is the traditional dress of Vietnamese women. It consists of a long silk tunic that is slit on the sides and worn over loose pants. Traditionally, it was frequently worn by both men and women. The design and material used for men were different from those used for women. Nowadays, women usually wear it, especially on special occasions. However, many Vietnamese women today often prefer to wear modern clothing at work because it is more convenient. Now fashion designers want to change the traditional áo dài. Some have printed lines of poetry on the áo dài, so they look modern and very fashionable. Other designers have taken inspiration from Vietnam's ethnic minorities. They have visited villages and studied traditional designs and symbols such as suns, stars, crosses, and stripes. They have added these patterns to the áo dài, so Vietnamese women can continue to wear the unique dress, which is now both traditional and fashionable.
Attention, please. Here is a special announcement. A little girl is reported missing. She was last seen 20 minutes ago near the main entrance to the car fair. Her name's Mary, and she is 3 years old. She has short, dark hair. She's wearing shorts, blue shorts, and a long-sleeved white blouse. She's wearing a pair of shoes, brown shoes. She may be carrying a large doll. If you see Mary, please bring her to the information desk. Her father's waiting for her there. Thank you.
The word jeans comes from a kind of material that was made in Europe. The material called jean was named after sailors from Genoa in Italy because they wore clothes made from it. In the 18th century, jean cloth was made completely from cotton, and workers at that time loved wearing it because the material was very strong and it did not wear out easily. In the 1960s, many university and college students wore jeans. Designers made different styles of jeans to match the 1960s fashions. Embroidered jeans, painted jeans, and so on. In the 1970s, more and more people started wearing jeans because they became cheaper. In the 1980s, jeans finally became high fashion clothing when famous designers started making their own styles of jeans with their own labels on them. Sales of jeans went up and up. But in the 1990s, the worldwide economic situation got worse, and the sale of jeans stopped growing. However, jeans have never been out of fashion, and today, young generation is still fond of wearing them.
Thank you.
Come and see my photo album.
Lovely. Who's this girl?
Ah, it's Lan, my old friend.
How long have you known her?
I've known her for 6 years.
Have you seen her recently?
No, I haven't seen her since 2003. She moved to Ho Chi Minh City with her family then.
On Sunday, Ba invited Liz to join his family on a day trip to his home village about 60 kilometers to the north of Hanoi. The village lies near the foot of a mountain and by a river. Many people go there on weekends to have a rest after a hard-working week. The journey to the village is very interesting. People have the chance to travel between the green paddy fields and across a small bamboo forest before they reach a big old banyan tree at the entrance to the village. Liz met Ba's family at his house early in the morning, and after 2 hours traveling by bus, they reached the big old tree. Everyone felt tired and hungry, so they sat down under the tree and had a snack. After the meal, they started to walk into the village for about 30 minutes to visit Ba's uncle. Then they walked up the mountain to visit the shrine of a Vietnamese hero and enjoy the fresh air there. In the afternoon, they went boating in the river and had a picnic on the riverbank before going home late in the evening. It was an enjoyable day. Liz took a lot of photos to show the trip to her parents. I wish I could visit your village again someday, Liz told Ba. You'll always be welcome here, Liz, Ba replied.
At 6:30 in the morning, the bus collected Ba and his family from their home. After picking everyone up, the bus continued north on Highway number 1. It crossed the Dragon Bridge and stopped at the gas station to get some more fuel. Then it left the highway and turned left onto a smaller road westward. This road ran between green paddy fields, so the people on the bus could see a lot of cows and buffaloes. The road ended before a big store beside a pond. Instead of turning left towards a small airport, the bus went in the opposite direction. It didn't stay on that road for very long, but turned left onto a road which went through a small bamboo forest. Finally, the bus dropped everyone off at the parking lot 10 meters from a big old banyan tree. It parked there and waited for people to come back in the evening.
Vung, a student from Ho Chi Minh City, is an exchange student in the USA. He is now living with the Parker family on a farm 100 kilometers outside Columbus, Ohio. He will stay there till the beginning of October. Mr. Parker grows maize on his farm, while Mrs. Parker works part-time at a grocery store in a nearby town. They have 2 children. Peter is the same age as Vung, and Sam is still in primary school. Since Vung arrived, he has been learning a lot about life on a farm. In the afternoon, as soon as he completes his homework, he feeds the chickens and collects their eggs. On weekends, if Mr. Parker is busy, the 3 boys help him on the farm. On Saturday afternoons, Peter plays baseball. The Parker family and Vung eat hamburgers or hot dogs while they watch Peter play. The Parkers are nice, so Vung feels like a member of their family.
Hey, Lun, have you finished your exam?
Yes, I have.
Were the questions difficult?
Well, they were quite hard.
Did you pass?
I'm not sure. The examiner didn't tell me.
What questions did she ask you?
First, she asked me what my name was and where I came from.
They were easy for you, weren't they?
Then she asked me why I was learning English and if I spoke any other languages.
Go on.
Then she asked me how I learned English in my country. And she asked how I would use English in the future.
What else did she ask you?
Oh, Paola, let me try to remember. She asked me what aspect of learning English I found most difficult.
Is that all, Lun?
Oh, there were a lot of other questions. She also asked me to read a passage.
What did she say in the end?
I'm trying to remember. Oh, yes. Exactly, she said. If you want to attend the course, you must pass the written examination. Good luck.
It's terrible, Lun. I don't think I will be able to pass the exams.
Don't worry, Paola. Everything will be all right.
Kate, can I introduce you to Nghe? She's studying English here in London.
Hello, pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you too.
Where are you from, Nghe?
I'm from Vietnam.
Why are you studying English here?
I need it for my job.
Really? So what do you do?
I work for a bank, an international bank in Hanoi.
Oh, I see. Did you learn English at school?
Yes, and at university too. But I've
Forgotten.
Yes, of course. I've forgotten a lot of it. I want to improve my writing skills. You know, sometimes I have to write letters in English.
What about listening, Nghe?
It's terrible. This is my biggest problem. People talk very quickly and I can't understand them.
Do you like studying English?
Oh, yes. It's an interesting language and it's very useful. And I can talk to people from all over the world. And I can understand the words of my favorite songs too.
Well, that's very good. Good luck to you, Nha.
The media. A. Before newspapers were invented, town criers would go through the city streets ringing a bell. They shouted the latest news as they were walking. B. In Vietnam, people love reading newspapers and magazines. The Kiên, Thúc, ngày is one of the most popular magazines and is widely read by both teenagers and adults. C. Thanks to television, people can get the latest information and enjoy interesting programs in an inexpensive and convenient way. Nowadays, viewers can watch a variety of local and international programs on different channels. D. The next stage in the development of television is interactive TV. Viewers are able to ask questions about the show by using their remote controls.
You like watching sports, don't you, Trum?
Not really. Some sports are so violent, and I don't like watching them. I prefer documentaries.
I'm the opposite. I love watching sports, and documentaries seem quite boring to me.
But you watch the news, don't you?
Yes, every day. It's very informative.
I enjoy it too. You don't like foreign films, do you?
No, I don't.
Dad, I'm doing an assignment. Can you help me with the information?
What is the assignment about?
It's about the important dates of the media. Where and when did the first printed newspaper appear, Dad?
It first appeared in the 7th or 8th century A.D. in China.
And when was the telegraph invented?
Perhaps it was in the late 19th century. Do you know what two new forms of the news media appeared in the early 20th century?
Radio and newsreels?
Excellent. And when did television become commercially viable? Can you guess?
In the 1940s?
No, it was in the 1950s.
When did the internet become a major force in journalism?
In the mid and late 1990s.
Thank you, Dad. Now I can answer all the questions for my assignment.
Read the forum on the Internet. The Internet posted by Jim Hello on Tuesday, 10 December 2002 at 9:07 p.m. The Internet has increasingly developed and become part of our everyday life. Do you find the Internet useful? What do you use the Internet for? How much time do you spend surfing the web a day? Please respond to these questions. Response number 1. Regarding the Internet. Posted by Sandra Morgan. In my opinion, the Internet is a very fast and convenient way for me to get information. I can also communicate with my friends and relatives by means of emailing or chatting. However, I don't use the Internet very often because I don't have much time. For me, the Internet is a wonderful invention of modern life. It makes our world a small village. Response number 2, regarding the Internet. Posted by Homehua. Nobody can deny the benefits of the Internet in our life. However, it is a pity for me, as well as for most of my friends in the countryside. The Internet is available only in cities. Therefore, I cannot easily get access to it. I sometimes visit my uncle in the city on weekends, and this is a good occasion for me to explore the net. I spend most of the time wandering because I don't know which website is useful for me. Response number 3, regarding the Internet. Posted by Juan Sui. People use the Internet for many purposes: education, communication, entertainment, and commerce. However, the Internet has limitations. It is not only time-consuming and costly, but also dangerous because of viruses and bad programs. Moreover, Internet users sometimes have to suffer various risks, such as spam or electronic junk mail, and personal information leaking. So, while enjoying surfing, be alert. Mr. Brown is talking to some volunteer conservationists.
I want everyone to listen carefully, please. First of all, I'd like you to divide into 3 groups. Each group should take 5 plastic bags. Once you have filled a bag, come back to me as you will need another. I need Group 1 to walk along the shore. Group 2 should check the sand. Group 3 has to check among the rocks. Mr. Jones is going to collect all the bags and take them to the garbage dump. Miss Smith has kindly provided a picnic lunch for us, but we won't eat it until the whole area is clean. If you can't find your place, I will help you get there with this map. Don't worry. I'm disappointed that people have spoiled this area. However, we are here to do something about this pollution. We must all work very hard, and if we work hard, we'll make this beach a clean and beautiful place again. Okay? Now let's get started.
Our oceans are becoming extremely polluted. Most of this pollution comes from the land, which means it comes from people. Firstly, there is raw sewage, which is pumped directly into the sea. Many countries, both developed and developing, are guilty of doing this. Secondly, ships drop about 6 million tons of garbage into the sea each year. Thirdly, there are oil spills from ships. A ship has an accident and oil leaks from the vessel. This not only pollutes the water, but it also kills marine life. Next, there are waste materials from factories. Without proper regulations, factory owners let the waste run directly into the rivers, which then leads to the sea. And finally, oil is washed from the land. This can be the result of carelessness or a deliberate dumping of waste.
Mummy, oh mummy, Mummy, oh mummy, what's going to happen if all the pollution goes on? Well, the world will end up like a second-hand junkyard with all of its treasures quite gone. The fields will be littered with plastic and tins. The streams will be covered with foam. Now throw those soda bottles over the hedge. Save us from taking them home. But mummy, oh mummy, if I throw the bottles, won't that be polluting the woods? Nonsense. That isn't the same thing at all. You just keep quiet and be good. If you're going to start getting silly ideas, I'll take you home right away. Because pollution is something that other folk do. We're just enjoying our day. Mr. Nyat wrote a complaint letter to the director of L&P Company in Ho Chi Minh City. The 5 sections of the letter are not in the right order. Label each section with the appropriate letter, S, C, R, A, or P.
26 Dan Phu Street, Hanoi, October 9th, 2003. The Director, L&P Transport Company, 431 Lait Loi Boulevard, Ho Chi Minh City. Dear Sir, Madam, I would suggest that your company should tell your drivers to clear up all the trash on the ground before leaving. I am writing to you about the short stop of your trucks around my house on the way to the north. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing a good response from your company. When the trucks of your company have a short break on the streets around my house, the drivers have left lots of garbage on the ground after their refreshment. When the trucks leave the place, the ground is covered with trash, and a few minutes later there is a smell and flies. Yours faithfully, Tran Vu Nyat. These days, many people begin to catch fish in the lake behind your house. What makes you worried most is they use electricity to catch fish. A lot of small fish died and floated on the surface of the water. Other animals such as frogs, toads, and even birds also died from electric shock waves. You think that local authorities should prohibit and fine heavily anyone catching fish in this way.
Now, write a letter to the head of the local authorities to complain about the way of catching fish in the lake behind your house, following SCRAP format. Begin with,
Dear Mr. President, I am writing to you about the problem of fish catching in the lake behind my house.
What's the matter, Mrs. Ha?
I'm worried about my most recent water bill. It's enormous.
Let me see. 200,000 dome. You should reduce the amount of water your family uses.
How do I do that?
First of all, get a plumber to make sure there are no cracks in the pipes.
I'll do that.
Baths use twice as much water as showers, so I suggest taking showers. And remember to turn off the faucets. A dripping faucet can waste 500 liters of water a month.
I see. Thank you.
Are you looking for a cheap, clean, effective source of power that doesn't cause pollution or waste natural resources? Look no further than solar energy from our sun. At present, most of our electricity comes from the use of coal, gas, oil, or nuclear power. This power could be provided by the sun. 1% of the solar energy that reaches the Earth is enough to provide power for the total population. Many countries are already using solar energy. Solar panels are placed on the roof of a house, and the sun's energy is used to heat water. The energy can be stored for a number of days, so on cloudy days you can use solar energy too. Sweden has an advanced solar energy program. There, all buildings will be heated by solar energy and cars will use solar power instead of gas by the year 2015.
In Western countries, electricity, gas, and water are not luxuries, but necessities. Companies now realize that consumers want products that will not only work effectively, but also save money. For most North American households, lighting accounts for 10% to 15% of the electricity bill. However, this amount can be reduced by replacing an ordinary 100-watt light bulb with an energy-saving bulb. These bulbs use a quarter of the electricity of standard bulbs and last 8 times longer. Therefore, consumers can save about US $7 to US $21 per bulb. In Europe, there is a labeling scheme for refrigerators, freezers, washing machines, and tumble dryers. The label tells the consumer how much energy efficiency each model has compared with other appliances in the same category. Ultimately, these innovations will save money as well as conserve the Earth's resources. Although there are many celebrations throughout the year, Tet, or the Lunar New Year holiday, is the most important celebration for Vietnamese people. Tet is a festival which occurs in late January or early February. It is a time for families to clean and decorate their homes and enjoy special food such as sticky rice cakes. Family members who live apart try to be together at Tet. Passover is in late March or early April. This festival is celebrated in Israel and by all Jewish people. On this festival, people celebrate freedom from slavery. Passover is also an ancient spring festival. On the first and second nights of Passover, Jewish families eat a special meal called the Seder. Easter is a joyful festival which is celebrated in many countries. It happens at around the same time as Passover. On Easter Day, Easter Sunday, young children receive chocolate or sugar eggs, as long as they're good. In many countries, People crowd the streets to watch colorful parades.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness shed for auld lang syne. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? And here's a hand, my trusty friend, and G's a hand o' thine. We'll take a cup o' kindness shed for auld lang syne.
There are many occasions for you to express your feelings to others. Following are opinions, feelings, and memories of children about their fathers on Father's Day in Australia and the USA. Rita, Australia.
To the one who teaches me how to love, cry, and laugh. To the one who says never lose heart and always finish what you start. To the one whose feelings for me are so strong that the word love can't describe them. Can you guess who it is? It's not too hard to tell.
Jane, USA.
Daddy, I'm writing this to tell you how much you are missed and loved. I will always remember that day, my wedding day. You were standing there with tears in your eyes while I was walking towards my groom. You gave me a hug and the feeling that you never wanted to let me go. But at last I had to leave you and start my new life. A moment in time that lasted forever. I now have children, Dad, but I will always be your little girl. Happy Father's Day.
You ask me what I think about my dad. Great. I must tell you my dad is the best person in the world. Do you know what I mean? He's a considerate and generous man who is loved not only by his family, but also by his friends. His priority is always his family. His sense of humor distinguishes him from all others. In a word, my dad's terrific. I'm so proud of him and love him so much. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Grandma, it's the weather forecast on TV.
Can you turn up the volume, Twee?
Yes, Grandma.
Here is tomorrow's weather forecast. Hanoi and areas to the north will be sunny. Hanoi will have temperatures between 23 and 27 Celsius. It will be raining along the coast of Thanh Hoa. The south-central coast can expect thunderstorms. Hue will experience temperatures between 25 Celsius and 30 Celsius. There will also be thunderstorms over the central highlands. Areas around the Cuu Long Delta can expect clouds during the day. Ho Chi Minh City's temperature will be between 27 and 35 Celsius.
That's all, Grandma.
Thank you, dear. What are you doing?
I'm preparing for a picnic with some old friends of mine. We haven't met since we left school. We're going to a park on the other side of the river.
Don't forget to bring along a raincoat.
But, Grandma, the forecast says it'll be sunny.
I never trust weather forecasts.
You don't miss a single one on TV, do you?
But I like watching them, dear.
All right, Grandma. I'll bring a raincoat just in case. I hope my friends won't laugh at me.
If you live in an earthquake zone, you should take some time to look around your house. Place heavy books on the bottom shelf of your bookshelves. Block the rollers on your fridge and washing machine to prevent them from moving. Put hanging potted plants in plastic containers. Check the mirrors in your bathroom and bedroom. Make sure they can't move. Don't put your bed next to a window. Planning where you are going to be during an earthquake is very important. The first thing to remember is to stay inside. Then you should sit under a strong table or doorway, or stand in the corner of a room.
Earthquakes. 90% of earthquakes occur around the Pacific Rim, which is known as the Ring of Fire. In 1995, a huge earthquake struck the city of Kobe in Japan. A large number of people were killed when homes, office blocks, and highways collapsed. Tidal waves. Tidal waves are the result of an abrupt shift in the underwater movement of the Earth. In the 1960s, a huge tidal wave hit Anchorage, Alaska. The tidal wave traveled from Alaska to California. Typhoons. When a tropical storm reaches 120 kilometers per hour, it is called a hurricane in North and South America, a cyclone in Australia, and a typhoon in Asia. The word typhoon comes from Chinese tai, means big, and feng means wind. So the word typhoon means big wind. Volcanoes. We can usually predict when a volcano will erupt. Mount Pinatubo, which is a volcano in the Philippines, erupted in 1991. It was the world's largest volcanic eruption in more than 50 years. Hundreds of people died, but thousands were saved because scientists had warned them about the eruption. Tornadoes. Tornadoes are funnel-shaped storms which pass overland below a thunderstorm. They can suck up anything that is in their path. In Italy, in 1981, a tornado lifted a baby who was asleep in its baby carriage into the air and put it down safely 100 meters away. UFOs are strange flying objects that some people report they have seen in the sky and believe to be spacecraft from another planet. Many scientists do not believe so. They say that if people see a UFO, it might be an aircraft, a weather balloon, or a meteor. However, there is still evidence for people to believe in the existence of UFOs. In 1947, Kenneth Arnold, an experienced pilot in the USA, reported that he saw 9 large round objects traveling at about 2,800 meters an hour to the left and the north of Mount Rainier. In 1952, there were more than 1,500 UFO sightings around the world. In 1954, a woman and her children believed they saw a UFO above their house. The woman said she saw 2 aliens in the spacecraft. In 1964, a farmer claimed he saw an egg-shaped object in one of his fields, and also aliens collecting soil samples. In 1971, 2 men claimed they were captured by aliens and taken aboard a spacecraft. After being examined by the aliens, the men were freed. In 1978, a young pilot and his plane disappeared after sighting a UFO. In 1981, Renato Nicolai was living in the southeast of France and reported he saw a plate-like device at the treetop 30 meters away from his garden.
What do these drawings say, Holm? There might be water on Mars. And what about those black sparkling spots on the right corner? Well, they might be traces of gemstones. There may be a lot of precious stones on Mars.
Good evening. Welcome to our Science for Fun program. This week, we've received a lot of questions asking about life on the moon. We've talked to some experts, and this is what we found out. There is no water or air on the moon. It is all silent because there is no air. Of course, there will be no music, no sounds. There are no rivers and no lakes. At night, it is very cold. The temperature goes down to 151 degrees below zero. But during the day, the temperature rises to 100 degrees above zero. There are great round holes on the moon. They look like big lakes. They are called craters. There are more than 30,000 craters on the moon. There are also high mountains. The highest mountains on the moon are about 26,000 feet or 8,000 meters high. And here is something very interesting to know. On the moon, you weigh 1/6 of what you weigh on Earth. If you weigh 50 kilos, on the moon you will weigh only a little more than 8 kilos. You will be able to jump very high, even higher than an Olympic champion. You can take very long steps as well, and maybe you won't sleep very well because one day on the moon lasts for 2 weeks. So, is there life on the moon? I'll leave the question for you to answer yourself.
A space trip. Do you want to plan for some kind of exciting trip? Do you have $1 million? Are you a good traveler? Do you want to go somewhere? Then you can have a trip to space. If you decide to take the trip, you will have to get ready a few months before the flight. You must be in excellent physical condition. You should run a lot, swim every day, and do aerobics and push-ups. You must get a letter from the doctor that shows you are in perfect health. Once you get on the trip, you will be in a different world. You will see pictures of the earth. You may also see your country and other interesting places. You will be able to see the oceans, large rivers, and the tall mountains. You will be able to see them many times because you will orbit the earth 16 times a day. You will also be able to see the stars that you couldn't see from the earth. When you are in orbit, you will be able to get out of your seat and walk in the cabin. You will be able to walk on the walls or on the ceiling like in a circus. You will not weigh anything. You will feel totally free and enjoy a wonderful feeling you have never had before. If you were on board now, you would experience those marvelous things. So do you think you will be able to take a space trip? Start to dream now, and your dream someday may come true. Do you think UFOs exist? Yes, articles and reports in newspapers talk lots about UFO appearances. What makes you believe there are UFOs? Well, many people around the world say they have seen flying saucers, so they must exist. Flying saucers? It might be their imagination. I don't think so. There are plenty of photos of them, and some of the photographers said they saw man-like creatures get out of the saucers. If there were flying saucers, there would be traces of their landing. You're right. People are talking about the mysterious circles in the fields in Great Britain. UFOs are no longer a figment of the imagination. They are real, and we should be ready to welcome their visits.